All right, today a live review of the Writer's Tears Double Oaked Irish whiskey. Um, this is a blend of single malt and single pot still Irish whiskey, and this brand is owned. Walsh whiskey is owned by the Amber Beverage Group. Um, this is non-chill filtered, natural color, 46% ABV, 92 proof. It is a mix of ex bourbon and ex cognac casks, ex dough cognac. Um, Now, this particular brand has kind of had like trouble getting themselves going. This particular bottle is sourced, so this is sourced Irish whiskey. They do mention it comes from a Cork distillery, and if we're talking about a Cork distillery, we're talking about the Middleton distillery, the Jameson distillery. Some people said something about some amount of it may be sourced from Bushmills. I don't know if that's true or not, but at least probably a lot of it comes from Middleton. Um, and these guys did try to build a distillery. They had a distillery built for them, which ended up being called the Royal Oak Distillery, and their investment kind of like fell through or something like that. And that is the distillery that now produces a Busker Irish whiskey. So these guys tried to make the distillery that ended up being the Busker Distillery. They also tried to make a new distillery with investment from their new owner, Amber Beverage, and the city council in Carlisle like denied their permit or something like that. So I don't know what's going on exactly. They can't seem to get a distillery built, but their stuff at this point is still sourced. I assume it's Middleton juice, but maybe there's some Bushmills in here. I don't know. But at the end of the day, this is a mix of single malt and single pot still. That is a mix of ex bourbon and ex cognac from the Doe brand cognac. You're back. Welcome back, Captain Turtle. Hi. Really tall and long bottle. So of course, this is triple distilled Irish whiskey. We'll be rating it out of 100. 25 for aroma, 25 for palate, 25 for finish, 10 for texture, and 15 for my personal subjective experience here. We spilled some on the mouse. So there's our non-chill filtered natural coloration here. Not quite sure what the age of this is exactly, but again, there's some ex-cognac casks in here, so that probably adds to some of the color. Your YouTube is cool, thanks, man. So I'm just gonna give this a minute to kind of like let the alcohol kind of just chill for a minute. Sajiru, welcome back. The one thing about these, I kind of like love these bottles, but the problem with these bottles for me is they're just so fucking goddamn tall. They don't fit any in any convenient location. The cabinet I have this in right now, it hits the top of the shelf. It's kind of really annoying. It's a cool bottle though. That being said, my experience with this bottle has been it's pretty tasty. It does have a pretty rich, like winey cognac note in the mid palate. I can't remember how we described this. Last time we had it because it's been so long since I had some of this, but I do remember like some like baked pastry and spices kind of notes. How's it going? Not too bad. So we'll go over our first impressions here. Usually we take about 3 sips before we start to talk about numbers. Oh yeah, definitely get some of that like um, rich, grapey, winey note on the aroma there. Like the cognac cask is so obvious. Oh, it is. That is quite a nice aroma. You kind of get like some of that, um, like orchard fruit, kind of like baked apple, kind of orchard fruit kind of note, and that's mixed with like some of that like kind of like winey kind of like grape characteristics, but there's a little bit of malt in there. It is a little bit bready. Again, we got some unmalted barley in here with the blend. So again, there's a blend of single malt and single pot still, and single pot still will contain at least 30% unmalted barley. We don't know how much unmalted barley is in here, but yeah, some nice baked apple, some spices in there, a little bit of that like malty bready character. Definitely can detect that cognac wine element. Just like, and it's not like super spicy. It's kind of just like it almost feels like that bready maltiness. Kind of like conveys that this like apple grape sort of thing is kind of like baked. Feels like a baked good, like a pastry, with just like enough subtle spice in there. Yeah, it's really nice. It's not terribly like complex in terms of like, hey, there's lots of crazy things going on, but the notes it is hitting are quite rich, um, and quite enjoyable. I've never like kind of had a nose quite like this, and the presentation is such that is very like, hey, it's very unique. It's very individual. Yeah, I've had cognac notes and wine related notes before, and yeah, I've had like apple orchard fruit and then kind of like baked good related notes before, but I've never had them kind of wrapped up together quite so well. The intensity is like, hey, like medium intensity, I suppose. It's not like super duper strong, but it's not like we're not hunting for flavor. It's present enough at this ABV that it's pretty nice. To some extent, we bought this bottle quite a while ago, and I really enjoyed this one and wanted to get some more of these Writer's Tears bottle, but they kind of like dried up a little bit near me. That being said, I kind of forgot a little bit about this brand. They do have like a sherry cask and like an ice wine cask and some other things going on with it. I think they have a single pot still exclusive one. That being said, all those things sound like sort of less interesting than like this bourbon cognac mix we got here. This cognac I think is really adding to the experience. Um, and I don't know, like a straight sherried or like regular old single pot still would kind of like hit as well as this does for me, but we should get around to trying them eventually. They're definitely like absent in my market, but we might be able to get some at a province. It's really nice though. All right, Writer's Tears, Double Oak, Triple Distilled Irish Whiskey on the palate. Sláinte. Really soft and smooth, silky triple distilled mouthfeel. You do get a good amount of spiciness. That's probably the major difference, I think, on this for me from the nose is the palate comes across a little bit more spicy. You do get some of that like cognac, grape, kind of wine note in the mid palate, along with some like pretty typical like apple fruits with a little bit of like um, what would you call it? Oh, bud. Hold on. Um, let me deal with our why is that? Let me deal with our friend here. Okay. We won't have that guy again. I gave that guy 2 chances and still he comes in here and says weird things. So we'll 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 not see him again. Anyway, yeah, the palate still has some of that like we'll miss him. That kind of like baked apple with some of that like wine note, but a lot more spicy. There's a little bit of the malts in there, but not nearly as heavy. I think the most heavy part about the palate for me right on the outset is the spiciness. Definitely kicks up compared to the aroma. I went into a bunch of things to try to ban this guy's ass because the way I had it set up before, all my chats were like in one window, but I couldn't ban anyone from that window because it was a multi-chat. So I went to go ban him from the from the YouTube channel, but I forgot that I changed it so that I have a YouTube chat for every one of my YouTube streams. So I could just ban him from the chat right in front of me. I'll remember that for next time. But yeah, he's the guy that came in the other day talking about weird egg stuff. He's got like a weird egg thing. He likes eggs. Anyway. There's a touch of like honey coming in now. Yeah, there's just like a touch of honey. Not a whole lot. But like that sweetness is kind of like showing a little bit. Just a touch. Just a touch of honey. Oh. Do like the nose. The intensity of the palate, aside from like the spicy components, maybe could use a little bit of oomph. But we really like the nose. The nose is quite lovely, actually. Finish starts off a little bit of that sweetness, a little bit of that spiciness. Some malt in there. A little bit of barrel. A little bit of that oak. We'll say length is medium. Like, pretty fair. Yeah, finish is like pretty fair in length. Not wholly complex. You got, again, some spiciness, some maltiness, a little bit of sweetness in there. Not really hitting with the fruits on the finish, but that's okay. I think the one place where I would like just a little more oomph on the palate would be nice. Like, kick up that cognac note, kick up that baked apple. Just kick it up just a little bit. Texture is nice. Again, triple distilled whiskey, so does does um does coat pretty well. Does kind of like roll off the tongue pretty well, if that makes any sense. Um, Good smoothness in terms of texture. Um, but again, just maybe like slightly soft on the actual like fruit characteristics. Could be a little bit louder there. Um, yeah, really fast. Yep. You know, that sweetness is not really moving much past like that kind of honey touch. Just maybe like fruit getting into a bit of a peach. You know, peaches and apples and grapes, baked, slightly spicy, slightly sweet. Definitely like that malt character is just hitting really much like baked good. Almost like if you wanted to say like muffiny almost. So I'll do one more sip and then we'll talk about some numbers here. But so far, like the aroma. Palate's pretty good. Finish is okay. Yeah, I feel like I pretty much got the gist of it, you know? Like I got the gist of it. Ah, the Queen's Blood Enjoyer has awoken. The side quest master. Yeah, Crassus bought me a copy of original Final Fantasy VII. Like that's probably like 8 months ago now, and he's been trying to get me to play it ever since. It's time for you to log in, and I keep telling him I keep telling them I want to play 1 through 6 first. And you can get them in a bundle. And and I was like, well, the bundle's not on sale. I don't want to buy the bundle. It's not on sale. And then my wife was like, just buy it. I might play it tomorrow. I don't know. I'm really enticed by those videos of Meist and Riven though. Those look sick. 1 through 6. Yeah, you can get remastered ones. And before you get too excited, okay, you can 2 pounds of chocolate are very proud of me. Uh Enjoy the diabetes, I guess. Um you can mod all of the games so that they have voice acting. All of them. There's a voice acting mod. So we might gotta do that. Do it like that, you know. All right, so aroma, man, pretty good. Some good notes, some good combination notes. I'm not doing anything crazy, vast, wild. Good cognac hit. I gotta wait 6 whole games to the good part. Those games are that bad? I'm pretty sure Crassus was playing 4. Weren't you playing 4, Crassus? It's pretty good nose. It's the best part. 18. Out of 25. All right, let's try to focus on the palette here. 6, oh, whatever. 6, 4, 16, 14, 3. So I think the palette, again, there's some good notes in there. Just a little soft for me, I think. Just a little soft. Yeah, and you get some good baked apple, cognac, spiciness hits there with a little bit of malt. Slightly tame on the palate, but pretty good. 16. Use all games as excuse to dodge good game. No, I feel like if my wife is telling me to buy the bundle, she probably will expect me to play them all. All the games in it. Yeah, Crassus is just saying that I'll play the old games first, and then I'll use that as a reason to not play the new games because the old games are worse, according to him. Right, exactly. She's gonna make me play all of them if I buy it. Locked in. Now, that being said, that's still way cheaper than buying Meist and Riven. Meist and Riven, those 2 games are the same price as that whole bundle. I don't think I've ever seen Meist on sale either, unfortunately. I think they know. They know if you want to play Meist, you're going to spend the $45. That's probably why they managed to like make a patch for it. They're probably making a bank off that thing. I'll have to see what the sales are like. I'm curious. It's a little bit congested, but we're good. All right. Let's focus on the finish. First hits, slight sweetness, slight maltiness with that spice note. A little bit of oak kind of creeps in there. But mostly kind of like spice and oak lingering a little bit. You might get like a bit of like grape skin on the finish. It feels like there's a little bit of something there extra. But I don't know what to call it. It feels like kind of cognac, tannic, winey related. I don't know. Grape skin's what I'll say today, but there's like a little bit kind of bitter wine tannic part there that I can't quite get. Pretty reasonable. 17. All right, out of 10, let's talk about the texture. Again, it's a pretty solid ABV, 46% alcohol. Dial Dozer, how's it going? This is a triple distilled whiskey, so that triple distillation kind of adds to providing a nice smooth texture. Okay. 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 Let's get rid of you. Bye bye. Bye bye. The unfortunate part is like if I delete their messages out of YouTube, it doesn't like remove them from this part right away. That's kind of annoying. We'll have to find out a way to fix that. I wonder if I have to go into my aggregate chat to do that. Pretty good texture, good mouthfeel. I'm trying to eat over here. YouTube's a fucking wild west, man. People just do whatever the fuck they want on there. It's crazy. Give it a 7. Pretty good. Yeah, I'll have to see if I can like delete those from the aggregate chat. Cause like the chat that goes here is managed by a completely different source than the YouTube chat or the Twitch chat. I'm just like annoyed that when I delete the messages on the YouTube chat, it doesn't delete them here. They stay here. But maybe there's something I can do for that. Okay. We got some winners. We got some winners today. Got some winners today. It's a holiday, right? Yeah. It might have something to do with it. This is the first time it's been this big of a problem, though, so I don't know. If kiddos are out in full force, yeah. If I had just like, I just wish that this aggregate chat would fix itself when I delete the message, because the message is gone now, but um, it gets stuck there. We'll have to fix that. It's spinning. That's right. It's spinning. Look at that. So at a 15, my personal experience, do enjoy the aroma pretty good. Palate's a little soft for me. What I like the most about this particular bottle is simply that it kind of brings together a couple different notes that normally you don't get together, and such a like nicely presented way. Again, the malty components very much convey like baked goods. You kind of get like a spicy baked apple note. You get like some of that like cognac is like present but not overbearing. It's tied well together, blended well, well balanced. The first sip I had, the spice kind of spiked a little bit on the palate, but that kind of like toned down in later kind of sips. So it's still pretty good. But for the most part, it's just that it's so well crafted and tied together. That's like my favorite part about this. And it's kind of slightly unique in the notes that get presented. That being said, it's not doing anything wild and crazy, nothing new and innovative. Despite the fact that maybe it has a cognac barrel, which is not like, you don't see that too often, but it's working really well here. So for me, it stands out a little bit. We'll give it an 8. 8 out of 15. It stands out just enough. So for this, 18 and 16 and 17 and 7 and 8 is 66. 66 out of 100. And we call this great. This is barely great. This is a great whiskey. Barely. Just barely. Barely made it into the great category. It's not good. It's great.